Okay, guys, I'm back with another league race, and the first thing that I want to say here related to this video, which you should be able to tell if I titled this video the way that I am planning to title this video is in HDR. If you're watching on an HDR monitor, it should be in HDR. If you're watching on a on the normal color space monitor, then I guess it's not going to be HDR. But that raises my question. Could you please let me know how it looks? If it looks terrible, if your monitor's not HDR and it looks terrible, then please tell me that. If you are HDR and you still think it looks terrible, tell me that. If you think it looks good, tell me that. It would be much appreciated. I think it looks really good, personally. I'm watching from an HDR perspective, and I think it looks really good. Better than my videos usually look, but I am somewhat worried about how it's going to be converted to a standard color space on YouTube. So we shall see how that goes. The context here of this video is that we are at Monza, and I have tweaked some of this a little bit, how I'm showing you stuff. I haven't historically done things this way, but I showed you not my first run because it was on mediums. Not my first run in qualifying because it was on mediums, but I did show you little pieces of my second run. I showed myself invalidating, which was unfortunate, but I was on a pretty good lap up to that point, so it was extra unfortunate. And then I'm showing you my final lap here, and you can see that I am roughly 2/10, almost 3/10 up, 3/10 going into almost the third sector, I believe. We're getting pretty close. I think it's right up here. So this lap is going decently well, which I'm happy with. I love that. And this is a nice feeling because I've not been qualifying very well lately. I've been qualifying actually very poorly lately. So this was a good moment for me in terms of building some of that confidence back up as we head into a new season. And because this is the last race of season 3 of my F1 league, and we are starting at Monaco next year. So qualifying is very important at Monaco. So of course I want to be on top of my qualifying game and see what it is we can do. So you see there finishing 8th in qualifying, so I'm starting P8 in the race of 16 drivers. That's about on par for me. That's about, I think, probably maybe not my ceiling, but pretty close to the ceiling of what I can do. So I was happy with that. And you'll see here, we get off at the start of the race. Again, I'm P8. I say P8 at the start here. I decided to be super ultra careful as we're coming into this first chicane. If you've raced Monza a lot, you can completely understand why. Got rear-ended there. Unfortunate. I don't think it gave me any damage, which was good. It definitely gave him damage. You see 562 King gets spun off the track there. I don't know what the context was. PCC Godly here on my left. I've definitely got a better angle coming into this chicane, so I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot here. Again, P8 as I started. But I do go just a little bit hot into there, and I can feel PCC Godly on my left, so I ended up sort of taking the escape there and losing some significant time. Probably would have gotten floor damage if we had been on simulation damage, but we're not, so I didn't. But I did lose some time there, and it sort of put me in the hole a little bit because I'm already in a position where I am not a full second behind PCC Godly, but getting close to a second behind him. And if I can't stay within a second of him for these 2 laps, then I won't have any DRS when we get to that point. And then Alex will be behind me just milking DRS, and I won't have any way to fight back because I won't be getting DRS from the guy in front of me. So this was all because of my escape there. Don't get me wrong. The escape that I did was way better than the alternative of running into the back of Skyland McKay maybe, or it might have been Whizbang. I can't remember. I think it was a Red Bull though. No, it might have been a Levendy. One of the reserves. I don't know. It was a Red Bull, I think. So it was better than the alternative, but not great. You see my teammate Hal there off the track. I followed up with him after the race about, hey dude, what happened?
You're into P8. You've taken P8.
So I'm into P8, which is good for me. I asked Hal about it after the race. I think he just sort of got into a tight area there at that chicane, as many people have done. I think he might have tried to avoid someone else or let someone by or something, and you see the result. Unfortunate for him, of course. So DRS is about to be engaged here.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
So we now have the capabilities, and I am within a second of PCC Godly, but Alex is within a second behind me as well. So I am smunched firmly in this DRS train, it seems, and it will be a matter of trying to get out of it, but in a positive way, not in a negative way. So I'm going to do my best here to try to catch up with PCC Godly and hopefully get past him. Because if you're not passing people in a DRS train, then you're always at risk of getting passed, although you could also be standing still. So I'm going to do my best here. You see PCC Godly go off track a bit, so I figure I should have a pretty good angle at him, but I just really botched that corner there a bit, so I lose a ton of time there, which is unfortunate. I would just much rather not do that if I'm going to be trying to catch up with the guy and try to stay within range, within striking distance for DRS. So a little fast forward action here. You see that I actually was not within DRS range of PCC Godly over a second and a half back, and now he's got the DRS. You see me take my one defensive maneuver, and Alex is coming up behind me. It seems like he's certainly got the time, but he brakes a little early, which is probably a smart move. I try to stay to the left of the track to avoid him. I go over that curb, a bumpy ride, but we got through it. I'm now behind Alex, but I seem to be going a lot faster than he is, so I'm hopeful that I can get past him. I've got the ERS. He sort of squeezed me a little bit on that left side of the track there, which is unfortunate. You see me just not with a great line here, and he just bails out, which is honestly probably a smart move by him to just stay safe, but he certainly lost time from doing that. I don't know necessarily how you would qualify whose fault that was or whatever. I mean, I don't know that anything really happened for it to be anybody's fault, but I certainly was at a weird place. He had to sort of bail out to avoid me, so it was probably the right move by him to do that, I would think. And again, I fast forward here, this straight. It's a non-DRS straight, so it's not that interesting to watch, but now we're in a position where there's DRS again, and this is scary. We've got Alex behind me with DRS. We've got 562 King right behind him with DRS, and 562 is rapid. You see Alex take not a great line, and he is bouncing all over the curbs, and that is just madly unfortunate for him. I gained some serious time on him right there. That was the least ideal thing that could have happened for Alex right there. He was in a really good position, but just went all over that curb. You see Big Rye Guy there has spun out. 562 King appears to be catching me a bit. And then I am feeling 562 behind me. I know this is a DRS zone. It remains to be seen if he can catch me, but I would be willing to bet that he can. So I took my one defensive move there. He was pretty smart about it, decided not to press the issue, not to try to pass me into that turn. He seems like, I've only raced a few times with him now, but he seems like a smart, level-headed, clean racer. So I think for him that was probably a situation where he's like, hey, we've got DRS coming up. Let's deal with this guy when we have DRS. So 562 gets by there on the DRS. Rush Puppy cannot take a go at it. I go a little deep trying to make sure Rush Puppy can't do anything. I'm very close here behind 562, and I'm getting a little low on battery, but I'm hoping that if I can just stay within range, I'll be fine to just pass him at maybe the next DRS zone if I can play my cards right. He gets a little better exit there from that corner, so he buys himself a little time. I'm hopeful that he won't get over 1 second, because that would be not good for me. It looks like I do get the DRS, and Rush Puppy behind me is going to have it as well, but I will note that Rush Puppy has a 3-second penalty. So it's early in the race, but I'm feeling good about hopefully being able to stay 3 seconds in front of Rush Puppy. Obviously could not catch 562 there, so not much was coming of that, unfortunately. You see us fast forward a little bit, one lap later, and Rush Puppy.
Rebel. you can.
Rush Puppy goes into the pits, and I am out here all alone by myself, and you hear Jeff tell me that we're pitting that lap. So you ended this lap. I go into the pits. 2.6 second stop, not too shabby. I come out of the pits, and I am P9, and Alex is right behind me. So I am somewhat just right back where I ended up earlier in the race. And frankly, I don't know how Alex managed to get there. He had certainly lost more than a second on me when he went off track earlier, so I was really surprised to see this. Fast forward again, end of lap 10. Kenny Hitman Hart is going to definitely have a situation here where he can use our DRS. I take evasive action to the left side of the track. Everybody around me has a penalty. So I am just really trying to stay clean here and not get any penalties. Kenny goes a little bit wide there and just gets off the track and definitely loses some time. Unfortunate for him, but as the league commissioner, I appreciate that he was trying to race clean rather than just running into the side of me. That is much appreciated. And he certainly is probably going to get another chance to pass me here. You see this next DRS opportunity for him. I take my one move to the left side of the track, and Kenny certainly has time here to get well in front of me. But I go down the inside. He leaves the room. I try very hard not to touch him, and it was somewhat of a repeat, a mirror of the previous lap where we had a similar situation when he was unable to get by me. In this case, he passed me on the DRS straight. I was unable to get back past him when I was hoping to have the opportunity. So at this point, we've got Rush Puppy almost 4 seconds in front of me with a 3-second penalty. Kenny is almost a second in front of me with a 3-second penalty. Kung Fu Panda is less than a second behind me, but he's got a 3-second penalty. And I can't remember if it's here or maybe on the next lap, but at some point I see that Hal, my teammate, has either a 3 or 5-second penalty. I can't remember which. So, and he's in 7th in front of Rush Puppy. So there is a big potential here if I can stay within range of Kenny and get within range of Rush Puppy and Hal in front of him. I can't see what's happening there, but if I can get within striking distance of those guys, penalties are going to take me 2, maybe 3 places up if I can just, again, stay clean and get close to these guys. You see me activate DRS there. This is the last lap of the race. I have almost no battery left at all, but I'm hopeful that I can get DRS and make a go at Kenny if at all possible. And I'm getting very, very close to him. So trying not to overuse my battery here, just trying to stay within range, trying to take advantage of any mistakes and see if I can slide past him and gain a space. You see Kenny makes a little error there, and there he goes. And Rush Puppy as well was off the track. So a huge stroke of good fortune for me as Kenny Hitman Hart goes off the track. Rush Puppy goes off the track. They're both within 3 seconds of me now. Kenny is behind me, so he's got 2 seconds behind me plus 3 seconds for the penalty. So I'm feeling very good about that. And there you see Hal's got the 5-second penalty, and he was 4.6 seconds in front of me. So maybe I can pass him too. I mean, I feel bad about passing my teammate, but it happens, right? And if it's not me, it's somebody else. So I'm pushing as hard as I can here to try to stay within range of Hal to hopefully pick up that position as much as possible. And it all kind of comes down to this. I mean, these guys both had 3-second penalties, but we've got Rush Puppy and Kung Fu Panda right around me here at the very end. And I managed to hold them off on the track. So I get P7 after the penalties get addressed, and I love it. I think that's a great race. I race really cleanly, really solidly, and I want to keep doing races like that.